Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host. I hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves, and blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Yesterday I did a video talking about the mascot of the band, Cirith Ungol, and his reference to some literature. And today I finally getting to, even though it's been out for a while, getting to my review of the new live album from Cirith Ungol called Live at the Roxy. It's a 3 CD set. You get 2 CDs and 1 DVD. Again, it's Live at the Roxy. Here's the lineup. Of course, the wonderful Tim Baker on vocals and Aztec Death Whistle. Greg Lindstrom, still on guitars. Armand John Anthony, also on guitars. Jarvis Leatherby on bass, and still on drums percussion, thank goodness, is the wonderful Robert Garvin. And it says very quickly about this album. This album was the album release party for our 6th studio album, Dark Parade, recorded live at the Roxy Theater in Hollywood, October 20th, 2023. So about a year and a half ago. And side one is all of this album live, their last album, Dark Parade. So what you get, disc 1, which is 44 minutes and 17 seconds, Velocity, Relentless, Sailor on the Seas of Fate. That's a reference to a section in the Elric saga, as I referred to yesterday in my video. Sacrifice, Looking Glass, Dark Parade, Distant Shadow, and then down below. CD2 is, as Tim Baker says at the end of disc 1, we'll come back in 5 minutes and play our classic songs. So you get Atom Smasher, I'm Alive, Frost and Fire, thank goodness, back to back, great classic tracks. Then you get the wonderful Black Machine, Blood and Arms, Badass, Chaos Descends, another reference to the Elric saga and the Eternal Champion that I talked about yesterday. The Frost Monstream, then the Arthur Brown cover tune Fire, which they do on one of their studio recordings, I forget which one. Then you get Death of the Sun, Master of the Pit, King of the Dead, and Join the Legion. Of course, they're going to end with Join the Legion. Kind of like a, hey, recruit the fans to come to their shows kind of thing. And of course, it's another reference to some literature. But yeah, what a way to start side 2 with those 4 wonderful songs: Atom Smasher, I'm Alive, Frost and Fire, and Black Machine, and then to end with 4 wonderful songs. It's all good though, with Death of the Sun, Master of the Pit, King of the Dead, and Join the Legion. So if it's a double gatefold, so when you open it once, you get this. You open it again, you get this. Let's see, let's go this way. Sorry. There's the discs and the DVD. There's the old logo. And then, once again, you have the Michael Whelan cover of Elric. The name of the painting is called Demon Slayer. And then the back, the live shot and the track listings. And you get a little booklet, which is always cool. Again, you have the album artwork. There's Garvin and Lindstrom, wonderful musicians. More photos. There's Tim and the other members of the band, and what the t-shirts look like for that particular tour. And you get a shot of the whole band at the end of the show. Garvin's just a great drummer, I think. And then you get some more shots. There's a wonderful picture of Tim. And then some more stuff there. And then at the back you have that. So let me talk about the music finally. I should say the total amount of time. This is a long show. It's 1 hour. If you take both sides, both discs, it's 1 hour, 46 minutes and 3 seconds. So not quite 2 hours, but that's a nice length. It's a Metal Blade Records release, go figure. And as I said, disc 1 is all of their previous album, Dark Parade, in its entirety. Again, here is that album if you don't have it. So, let's talk about the music. Of course, this is a heavy metal band, and It's a combination of different metal styles. Their music has always been that. It's classic metal in the vein of, though not necessarily sounding much like, but there are hints of Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, hints of it, not much, but it's that classic metal sound, plus there are total elements of doom, especially starting with their second album, King of the Dead. But there's some doom-like stuff on the first album, doom / stoner, if you will. There are progressive moments in the band's history. Take, for just one example, which is on this disc, the song Frost and Fire. You have that instrumental section with the bump bump bump, very Rush-like, and then the guitar part kicks in and goes on a little run. It's wonderful. So there's some progressive moments as well. It's sword and sorcery doom, because of not just the album covers that go along with the music. The album covers are meant to represent what the music is supposed to sound like in many ways. There is also musically, but not vocally, elements of power metal, especially that first album, and some of the songs from the first album are here. No keys, of course. They're not a keyboard band, thank goodness. There's that galloping guitar at times, hence the classic and the power type metal musically. Now, let's talk about the musicians. Tim still sounds amazing. It's towards the end of the show, maybe one of the last. It's probably somewhere in the last 4 songs where, not the last song though, where Tim Baker lets out a high-pitched wail and he stretches it and he sounds fresh as if he was, day one on the job for the Frost and Fire album. He sounds great. He still sounds amazing, as I said. His voice is very unique. There is no one who sounds like Tim. I think some people would disagree with me, and I've had people say, no, he sounds like this person, but I really think there's no one else who sounds like, he doesn't sound like anyone else, no one sounds like him. Just something unique about it, and it's what perhaps drawn me to this band when I first heard them when I was a sophomore in high school. So I was a little bit late to this band. Frost and Fire came out in 1981, and I first heard Frost and Fire in 1983. So yeah, Tim sounds great. Great riffs from the guitar players. The guitar tone is perfect. You have at times in the music, not just here on the live album, but in their discography, where the guitarist or the guitarists mimic with their electric guitars an Arabian type tone or flavor or sound, or it suggests a hint of that Arabian vibe, like you're watching a movie soundtrack during, where the instrumental parts kick in the songs. It has a soundtrack feel, but it's not lush because it's heavy metal. So there's that's a mimicking of an Arabian type tune, or rather tone, but it's all electric. So it's wonderful. It's not in the same vein as when Alex Lifeson does it on Caress of Steel or YYZ, but there are different. Think of kind of, but not exactly like Iron Maiden's To Tame a Land, but not quite that either. It's very unique. The bass is perfect where it is in the mix. So are the drums. Garvin is, I think, an underrated drummer. Everything is, all the music here, all the musicians, what they're doing, what they're playing is perfect in the mix. Everything is perfect in the mix. Drums, as I said, kick ass. So yeah, now, how do I rate this album? It's a 10 out of 10. I was surprised that all of this one is the last album in full. If I were to make suggestions, I would have what I would have done. I would have made it a total 2 hours, and not started with the last album from the get-go. I would have included some older songs, to get the fans really roaring to go. Not to say that the album isn't good. It's great. I love it. But start off with some hits, if you will. Then do, say, 3 songs from their classic early days, the first 2-3 albums, and then go into the whole album, the last album, from start to finish. And then that way you have 2 hours of music or thereabouts, and then you get a more fuller and richer live experience. And then again, you get the crowd, because let's face it, there are going to be some people who hear the first song and go, oh, I don't know this song because they didn't buy the last album or hear it, that kind of thing. Nothing wrong with that. I love it. I think it's a great album. So very little criticism here. I think it's a wonderful album. As I said, it's a 10 out of 10, but I would have gone a little bit different when and done some, as I said, some earlier tracks, then done the whole album, and then do everything on side 2. It's wonderful. So I've not seen the DVD yet. It's the same show, so I didn't want to hear it / watch it twice, so to speak. But yeah, so I give it a 10 out of 10, as I said. And if you're a Cirith Ungol fan, this is a must-own. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. See you next time.